Good morning, everybody. Don't have any music for you today, just because I'm not going to take a whole lot of time. There's not much to talk about. I mean, there's election obviously coming out uh, here later today, um, but the price is pretty much dead on all pairs this morning. Hope everybody's well. Looks like we have about 137 people in here today, and I'm in one position. That is on the Euro US dollar. 130, and it's a short position. I'm only 12 pips in drawdown right now. I'll hold this through the election. This is a really uh, low risk trade. Very nice, Robert. Looks like you're in on the Euro Japanese yen. Where did you enter, Robert? It's interesting because you picked the pretty much the only one of the few euro pairs that are actually going up right now. Um, the because the yen is um, hurting pretty bad right now on pretty much all pairs. It's running up on the against the USD and the running down against the USD and the Euro Japanese yen. 15 minutes ago. So you just recently entered. Interesting spot to enter, Robert. Looks like you got in right at the beginning of uh, the continuation, which is nice. So you're about 10 pips profit, or maybe a little less. There is some support up there, so keep that in mind. It does look like it's uh, reacting to that level, at least prices. So I mean, it shot up, went back down, broke up again, broke down again, and now it's broken up. Um, so if you're lucky, you could continue from here. Let's see if it decides that it's going to continue to push. Um, my position on the Euro US dollar is something that I'm holding, like I said, holding through the election. Um, and what I wanted to show you guys is, there's going to be a lot of election talk today. Some of you may know this website. It's called 538.com. These guys actually predicted the last election, and they predicted every single state correctly. Um, and you can see here that they have Hillary projected to win at 71%, 71.6%. Just a couple weeks ago, this was uh, less, less than 70%. Donald was closer to 30, or 30 or just above. Since the FBI stopped the email case on, at least for now, on Hillary, the numbers have gone up slightly. Okay, so that's why I'm holding a short position on the Euro US dollar. I'm expecting a Hillary Clinton win and a push down, uh, a push up against the euro on the USD to push up against the euro. Um, or to gain value against the euro is what I mean. So with that being said, if that 30% chance happens that Donald does end up taking some of those battle states, then I'll probably basket this position, enter trades at the support resistance points. Right now, I'm just kind of holding out until things get a little bit more intense when it comes to the numbers. I'll probably put in some pending orders later tonight, and then go from there. Yeah, Robert, I guess I just answered your question. I will add, um, I probably will add, since I'm expecting some volatility, I'm not going to add too close. I'm probably going to enter my second pending order way up here. That's 78 or so pips from my original entry. Yeah, about 80 pips from my original entry. I don't want to be in too tight when there could be some pretty big jumps up and down depending on what's going on with the election. Oh yeah, thanks for posting the link there, Ernstall. Ernestall X. Yeah, sell stop. So my sell stop will be placed at 1.1159 about. That will be my second sell stop. Um, and I'll go from there. After that, I'll probably just hold that one position. Actually, I'm just going to place that pending order now. I'm going to place it at 0.04, and I'll let that ride out through the rest of the day. We could see ups and downs. I'm expecting not a lot of movement today. I don't expect a lot until tonight when the numbers start coming in. Oh, you're asking about stops. Hmm, probably not, Robert. I probably won't. It's I haven't really thought about it actually. I don't think I will. Not on this one. As you can see, I just removed my take profit. Um, I'm actually going to push this a bit farther down. I don't think I'm going to do sell stops on this one. The reason why is because I feel like it will be jumpy. If it goes down, it won't be a clean sweep on the way down until the official numbers are in. So I'm expecting a bit of a, you know a roller coaster ride throughout the process of it moving down if Hillary is the winner. Yeah, yeah, Robert. It's something that I guess I should think about, but I don't like having sell stops or too many too close together because then it hurts your profit. I've had that happen before where I use sell stops and it breaks into my profit and I come out with less profit overall just because it's a bumpy ride. Um, so I don't think I'm going to do that in this case. All right, so if we're looking at options to trade right now, or pairs to trade right now, there's not a whole lot. I'm not going to recommend a ton to you guys right now. The best opportunities at the moment are if the price reaches, excuse me, reaches 1.23583 or even 1.235 on the pound USD. Now it's a USD pair. And it may be a little bit risky to buy any USD at the moment, um, just because I'm expecting a Hillary win, and that likely means that USD will gain value against most other pairs. At this point, that's what it's looking like. Now anything can happen though. But when it comes to price action, it looks like retracement could happen here with a bounce possible on the pound USD. The odd CAD, nothing that I see here. It's just sitting at the daily pivot line. Trend is up. Also nothing on the odd USD. Trend is up, but we're again stuck at the near the pivot line of the for the day. Nothing on the Euro US dollar. We have a potential change in the trend as I talked about early in the week with the gap. The gap tried to fill, but it didn't quite make it, and then it continued down in regards to the FBI taking off the charges to Hillary. Uh, and if she does win the election, or if it's starting to look like she will be, I expect that it will continue on the downside. Why? Because we did have the hint of the gap when that news came out with the FBI. Um, and that was positive for Hillary coming into the presidency. So with that gap, it gives us a hint onto what may happen if she does take the presidency today or win the election. Um, so I would expect more down movement. The USD Japanese yen, I would expect this to continue up. For those of you wanting to just trade off of the price action, this is a good area for a retracement today. Since volatility will be low, it may not be the best idea for a retracement. If there is a retracement here, it will likely be very small. Okay, Euro Japanese yen, currently at a resistance point where it may be breaking through, but it has shown some slowdown there. We are still in an overall messy uptrend. It did move up, back down, and then move up and broke the swing level up here so far. So it looks like it could be on its way up. Uh, I would expect this to gain in value today, potentially, or during the election, at least on the Euro Japanese yen. The reason why is because I feel like the yen will drive this pair during the election today. Um, that's a prediction. That's a guess. I'm not really sure, but I do think that this will likely continue going up. Okay. Even though it is at a near a support resistance area up here, I do feel like it may continue. The Euro Australian dollar, I do think that that's going to continue on the downside. And we have changed trend directions. We're at the daily pivot. I would like to see more of a retracement up towards the resistance at 1.44229, and that hasn't taken place yet. It looks like it's reacting to the pivot level though, with the candle wicks, uh, with the candle bodies not breaking past the pivot at 1.435. No trades. So no trades yet, pretty much on any pair. The closest one I saw when it came to at least uh, on the technical price action side was the pound USD. And counter trade opportunity for the Japanese yen, where we see a resistance at 80.7. And it's right near the resistance, the previous resistance there as well. So this is right now considered a double top. We'll see if it holds. Look for price action to, if it wants to hold, look for candles to close below 80.774. As long as candles are closing below that, then it's a good possibility that this could hold. Retracement shouldn't be too big at about 35 pips. 80.398 is what I would expect for a potential retracement. This is a counter trend trade, but there is some resistance up at that point. We had it here, here, and then again here. So this could be a substantial area for a retracement to happen. Not worth trading in my book though. I'm still waiting on. I'm taking less counter trend trades right now. I'm having most of my my EA do trading for me on the euro pound and on the pound Australian dollar, and then I'm also scalping. Scalping volatility is too low on the euro US dollar for scalping today, and so I'm going to have to wait until the volatility picks up later tonight or tomorrow. Okay, let's see. So we're going to mark this as the best counter trend opportunity in my book. I'm going to put a little arrow on it. Okay. There is counter trend opportunity on CAD Japanese yen. It has changed direction. I would like for it to fall back down and retrace further before re continuing its trend back up. It's been in a fairly big downtrend in the last while. The massive gap over the weekend during the election, because of the gap, I would expect this to continue up. For all the other pairs, there's not a lot of options. Pound Japanese yen sitting around the pivot level. Counter trend trade has already been missed. There was an opportunity up there. The counter trend opportunity already hit profit and just recently did for 31 pips. Missed opportunity on the counter trend side, but nothing on the trend side on that pair. EuroCAD, nothing here. Trend has been up recently with the trend change with the gap. Same thing on the pound. Trend has been recently up and then has changed after the gap as well. My EA is looking for opportunities on the pound Australian dollar and is currently doing that. It's not on hold because of the elections. I'm not going to be placing the EAs on hold during the election. I'm expecting some volatility, but not a ton, like Brexit type of volatility, or even more than say 200 pips. Right now, the EA is looking to jump above 80 before any potential trades are attempted. The pound Australian dollar also looking for to go below level 20 before it looks for any trades. Now the conditions are the pair has to be above 80 or below 20, and it looks for an inside candle. So that's what you see here, below the 20 level, inside candle, and then the launch, the shoot up from there. So what does that look like? I'm actually testing one of my other EAs right now. This is a scalping EA that I'm testing currently. My scalping EA, the TMA News, that's the one I'm actually using right now. I'm testing it on a bunch of different settings to make sure the ones that I have are good. So we're going to stop that currently, or at the moment, and I'm actually going to quickly look at the drawdown. 54%, that's a little too high, but for scalping, I guess it's things can get pretty intense. Let's see, inside candle. Okay. So we're just going to run the test from 2010 to 2016. I think my settings are correct. Okay, so I have a 30% drawdown cutoff. So that's what that this swoop is. So this is a 30% drawdown cutoff. And that happened in, I believe it was early 2010. Okay, so Robert FX, that EMA that I have, it's a custom EMA. Let's see, I can't remember what the settings are, but I think it's 200, close to a 200 EMA. Maybe I can find that out for you right now. Let me Let me see. Okay, so it's not at 200. Let's try 100. Mm. So what we want is the EMA to be changing colors. See my color EMA to change colors when price crosses the line. It looks like it's more of a simple EMA here. Let me see if that changes. Okay, so that's a little bit closer to what we're seeing here. So I'd say, yeah, it's pretty close to a 200 EMA. If you want, the only difference is you can see that the EMA or the standard simple EMA SMA is it doesn't change colors like mine does. Um, you just have to base it off of how price behaves around it and crosses and closes below it. But it looks like it's pretty close to a 200 uh, simple uh, SMA or 100 SMA, sorry. Yeah, seriously, fan focus. Can somebody wake me up when the volatility starts? It won't start uh, for a while until the pull numbers probably start coming in. So yeah, Robert, this is my EG, I guess EA. It's the RMI plus the inside candle. So it combines the inside candle idea that I have with the RMI. It's looking like it's probably my best EA overall um, on multiple pairs with multiple settings. So the overall methodology behind the EA is one of my best. So it's likely I'll be using it for some time. Um, Results suffer a little bit prior to 2010. Um, it's not bad. It's still profitable, but there's a lot more ups and downs. Right now, I have a 30% cutoff on the testing, and you can see that the last time that was hit was in the beginning of 2010. I think I might have another hit at some point for 30%. If I take off the cutoff of 30% in general, it does not blow up. The EA actually has about a 50 to 60% drawdown overall if I take off the 30% cutoff. I mean, 50 to 60% is pretty high. I'm not sure if that's really usable in on a say like $100,000 account. I'm not really sure if somebody's is willing to risk 50 to 60% of their account, even with a equity curve that looks this nice. You know, uh, it also runs on the pound Australian dollar as well, which I can show you the results on that in a few seconds. Uh, no, Homer, I actually build. I have a program that basically puts all my EAs into, or all my ideas into EAs. So I tell him what I need, what I want, what kind of strategy, and all of my EAs are built. Uh, I use my methodology, so ideas that I've come up with. It's not copied. I'm not using any previous EAs. These are all original EAs that I've had, and I have. Let me see if I can show you. Okay, so this is just a small amount of the EAs that I've had done. So you can see that there are probably a good 50 or 60 just in here. I believe I've had about 80 to 85 EAs created over the past 3 years. Unfortunately, only a handful of them actually show any merit for long-term trading. I have uh, probably probably five that are substantial enough to trade in to be used in live trading. All right, so actually the euro pound is something that is close to a decent trade opportunity. By the way, guys, if it moves up a little bit more near the 89.3 level, it may be good for a short entry. The trend is down on the euro pound. As you can see here, my EMA is down. It's getting close to support levels or resistance levels, which could mean a retracement is in the retracement here could be done, and could find resistance at this level at 89.3, and then a continuation of the trend down from there. So this is a pretty close to a decent trade, but the euro pound is not a very volatile pair, so I'd be very careful for how large your take profit is on that. Yeah, let's see here. Down. Homer Newman, yes, I've already tested this EA on a live account. So the first few trades have already gone in. So the first trade that you see here, this is a live trade. This was taken with the EA. I have the EA put on a VPS. So this was one of the first trades, and this was a profitable position. It entered correctly. It looks for a push down or up in a big way. It looks for the RMI to be below the 20 level, and then looks for an inside bullish, in this case, inside bullish candle to close. And you can see it entered. So Hedge Bitcoin is right. There is slippage. You can see where the slippage is or where the spread was involved. So you see where the actual entry was. You see it right here. You see it was for 0.19 lots. You can also see that it was supposed to enter right on at the beginning of the candle, but that includes slippage. Its entry includes slippage and spread. Now, when it took the entry, it was pretty late in the day, so I believe spread was pretty high. It looks like it was about 7 pips, or if I had some slippage as well, it's possible. I still had a nice profit and closed out. So that was the first trade. The second trade was taken on the pound Australian dollar, and this one had a couple of trades. Here we have the RMI above 80, the first entry after the push up, the inside candle, the entry. This is a much better entry. As you can see, there wasn't a lot of slippage or spread on that one. I had a really good entry, and it went down pretty quickly. Profit was fast. And then it entered on a second position after another inside candle. So we had the push down, the retracement, the continuation, and then the retracement back again, and then the continuation. So the inside candle, whoops, sorry, the inside candle, let me close this out for a second. The inside candle here, right at the resistance level, the entry, first position, it shot up, second position entered 20 pips later, and then they both closed out here on the retracement after the push up. Okay, so those were all live trades on the account. Each of these positions closed out. So there are 4 in total, but since these ones were connected together and closed out at the same time, there were 3. So 2 of these were basket. This is one by itself, and so a total of 3 trades. Each one closed out at about 0.6% profit. All right, so this is what I've tested so far. It's still pretty new. This is going to be more slippage. There's going to be higher spreads, and I'll just play it out. Now, what you can do in testing, although back testing is not completely perfect, right now I'm using control points. Now, for you guys that have back tested, you'll understand that the every tick test is the most accurate. You can also put your spread in, so how much your spread is. Right now, I just have it at 2 pips for the euro pound. You can select your pair. Open prices is typically the least accurate. Control points is maybe medium. It won't show you the profit potential for the EA, meaning that the profit is not accurate. But it will show you, for the most part, the correct entries. Um, Every tick is a better expectation for what you can expect the profit, although it does not take into consideration spread and additional fees and slippage on top of that. So likely whatever you're seeing in an every tick test is also not going to be accurate, although closer. Okay. Uh, okay, so yeah, Robert, this is what the EA came up with. This is an open price, so don't be looking at the profit, although the profit looks pretty good over a 4-year period, starting with $7,500. Um, it ends up being at 33,561. That is not. Don't be looking at that number. What we're looking at and what we want to look at is the dips in balance, like here, so the loss, and then the how smooth the equity line is as well, and then the loss here. So these losses will happen in a tick test, and they may be a little less, maybe a little bit more, but it shows us where the losses happened and how often they were. So this is over the course of from 2010 to current dates, 2016. Um, so a pretty good idea of what to expect from the EA trading over the next few years. So now if we change it to pound Australian dollar, let's see what we come up with. Okay, so any changes on the pairs right now? So the trade that I marked with the Australian dollar, looking like it's actually using that as a resistance line up here. Our entry would have been about halfway down the candle, and the take profit would be at the 80.5. Ryan, do you know any method to make withdrawals look different from drawdowns? Withdrawals look different from drawdowns. I don't know what you mean exactly. Uh, are, maybe you can clarify what you're asking, because I know that if what I was thinking is that uh, help some people will uh, start an account with $1,000 and um, put in a trade for one lot, and if the trade's in profit, let's say $100, and they withdraw $900, that means that they have $100 left in the account, and they have $100 profit. So once they close out that trade, they'll come out with 200% profit, and it will make the account look really good. It's kind of a withdrawal deposit manipulation to make your account look like it's a lot better than it is. If that's what you're asking, that's that's true. That can happen. Homer, I'm not really sure exactly what you're asking, but maybe I can clarify at least if you're talking about what you're seeing here on my chart. So the blue line, the blue line is the balance. The green line, so what you see here, the green, that is the equity. Uh, the balance means that there was an actual loss in balance if it dips, so like you saw on my last chart. Um, and you can see here with these little swoops, that means that there is drawdown, that there are multiple trades in, and there's drawdown happening. The equity is staying above, but we're dipping into the balance a bit, and then we come out into profit after that. Same thing here, the swoop here. Those are not withdrawals. Those are just equity. They're balance slash equity drawdowns that happen. In particular when trades are closed out. So if I have a basket of trades, so what does that look like? So right here. So what I'm talking about is this. So when all these trades here close out at this point, then we're going to get this kind of this swooping action because all the trades are closing out at the same time that each one has to close out one at a time. It happens in a very quick succession. Um, on EAs, they made it all these trades are closed out in a matter of seconds. But during that time, that's what it looks like when that's happening. We'll have a little bit of a swoop or a rounded edge when during those few seconds, and that's what it looks like on price. It doesn't homer, but since this is a test, this is a back test. You can't add withdrawals to the test. You can't say, okay, I want the test to withdraw a certain amount at this point and a certain amount at this point. You can't do that in backtest. So, like I was telling Robert, you can't really trust the actual profit amount. Now, you have to understand that the profit here, or the equity curve and the balance curve that you're looking at here, is what you can expect from the EA. So you can expect that there isn't going to be a lot of losses because of the equity curve is it's so smooth, and the balance equity curve is so smooth. But you can't really trust that number very well. You can expect that it will be in profit and that it will look something like this, but it may not be this exact number that you're seeing here, so the $35,000. So right now, if you're looking at profit expectations, we're in 2010, the beginning, and right now we're in 2015 at 773 2015, and the current balance is 36,318. And the original starting balance was 7,500, um, and we'll get to the drawdown in a second. So uh, maybe that helps explain a little bit of what you're asking. Okay, so let's look back at the Euro US dollar. It looks like it's slightly pushing up a little bit. I've got my pending sell limit in, got my take profit. I'm all set. Because the euro is jumping up a bit, the yen is getting some value as well. It'd be a nice option to auto withdraw with an EA, but in the statements, the graph doesn't show the difference between losing money and withdrawing money. So the graph looks pretty useless, does that as does not indicate what you lost anymore like this. Uh, hmm. I'm still a little bit confused about what you're asking. But if you're looking at the results, okay, so you see that we have a loss here. This is a 30% cutoff, right? 30% cutoff. And that's actually represented in the EA. So we have the 39,000, right? So the 39,000, 597. And then we went into drawdown, right, in this area. So all these trades were drawdown, and they looked like, if I can find it. There it is. Oh, that's not it. There it is. Okay, so it's here. So you see with all these trades, they closed out for a loss, right? All at the same point. So it was a basket of trades that all closed out. Um, and what that looks like on the graph is like this. All these trades losing out in a pretty large percentage. Now we originally had 39,597, and then at the end of that, we were only left with $26,030. And then we went back into gaining after that. So you see the balance increased, the dip in equity. Equity is the green line, so the equity jumped down, the balance closed out. We accepted the loss, and then the recovery started happening. So I'm not really sure if that's answering your question. I'm sorry if that's not. I do have a lot of experience with backtesting. I mostly do backtesting with EAs to find the best strategies to trade manually. I rarely trade EAs or let them trade by themselves because I don't necessarily trust them to adapt to the market as well. But this one has a little bit more adaptation, and I'll constantly be improving it as well. Ooh, that's a hard recommendation, Homer. There's the reason why I can't recommend any EAs, and there's only one EA that I can recommend, and it's not in the market. The thing is that you'll see EAs come and go all the time. Most people don't have the experience or knowledge or are just naive to put their EA on the market knowing that it will blow up at some point, but they will push it for as long as possible to see if they can gain a bunch of subscribers. I don't like the idea. I like my EAs to be run for a long period of time and backtest and to show that there is potential with the strategy. The only EA that I can recommend is Goldstar. There he is. He just joined us. The only trader and EA that I can recommend, yeah, is Hans's gold EA or manual intervention EA. I feel like that's the best way to trade an EA is to have some manual intervention and at least be watching it to make sure that it's taking the right steps. Because we all know that EAs have trouble adapting, and the best way to help them adapt is by having that manual intervention. And Hans sees that, and that's why he capitalizes on it. We're going to take a look at this. It's not exactly what you want, but can modify it and get desired results. Thanks, Hans. Let me take a look at it. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, because there. Thanks for posting, Hans. I'll check that out. Um, what so you think about Euro odd, Ryan? Let me see. I think we're gonna end soon, guys. I didn't want to take a whole lot of time today. The Euro Australian dollar. It's holding at the pivot line here. So the pivot at 1.433 1.434. You can, and the reason why I'm saying it's holding there is because you can see the wick. No candle body has closed above that line yet. So if I were to do anything, I would probably sell the Euro Australian dollar at this point. There's not really any great signal as I would like the pair or price action to hit that level again before jumping in on the short. Um, but it has done a retracement, and it seems like it may be holding at the pivot line for continuation on the downside. Okay, Ryan, yes, so I take 20% from my account and put it in a different account one day. Hold on, guys, let me read this. It's kind of a long comment. Huh. Uh, oh, I see. Homer, you should attach your account to uh, my FX book to track your stats better. That's the same thing I do. It's really hard to track stats in MetaTrader when you're withdrawing and depositing. You should attach your account to my FX book. I don't know if you know what it is. There's a maybe you already know what it is, but it's much easier to track your stats when you withdraw and deposit into the account because the percentages still should stay the same. Um, so hopefully that helps. Okay. Well, guys, I think that's probably going to be it for me today. Uh, I'm going to continue to hold on to my Euro USD. I'm not planning on taking pretty much any other positions right now. Most of them are counter trades, counter trend trades. I don't see any opportunities on any of the other pairs, at least not yet. My EA is not taking any trades yet and may not until later today. Uh, and we'll see what happens tonight. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for uh, the aftermath of the election. Let me just double check to see if there's any comments on YouTube. I would say stay away from the USD at the moment. Maybe scalp, but definitely not long term. Truth spoken, that's very truthful. Um, I would stay away from the markets in general. That's why I'm not really recommending anything at the moment, even on the off pairs like the non-USD pairs. Scalping the next few days, nothing longer as time I am able to watch the screen. Uh, I would say the markets will pick up in volatility tonight or later today once the poll number starts coming in. Uh, and any idea on Euro US dollar action right now? Uh, at the moment, no. It's going to range a lot today. There might not even be any continuation of the move down at this point. I feel like it will sit near the pivot line a lot of the day. I'd be surprised if it moved down unless some numbers came in that put one of the candidates in favor of the other. Uh, so, um, with that being said, since there's no more questions, uh, I think that is it for today. Thanks so much for guys for watching, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much. Bye.